Year in review, ABSIP, UNOPS GIC Antigua, social distancing. So let's start off how we started the year. So this year we started off with a hackathon.
Yeah.
How was that?
Dadly Hack 3.0. Before, we usually just had the hackathon and the youth camp with the robotics and programming. This year, we actually did Entrepreneurship Week leading up to the hackathon, which was really great. The meet and greet event had close to 100 persons, I believe.
Correct.
As well as the Women in Leadership seminar that we held in conjunction with the University of the West Indies.
Correct. Five Island campus.
Yes. So a major turnout. There are a lot of people, and not just women, who have really great ideas, and being able to sit in a room with other females who have done it and to be encouraged from their experience is really great. We had Rafika Atwood, who is the director of Wallens Nature Reserve, which a lot of people are now more aware of because of COVID and because hiking has become a thing in Antigua. And they were able to hear how her organization and her team revitalized one of our historical sites and kind of really made it into a really good business.
Yeah, notwithstanding all the work that she have done as well to get it to that point. So
yeah,
kudos to her. We had Cassandra Simon.
Yes. Yes.
A registered accountant here in Antigua. We had Janice Sutherland. We had one of our very own from the park, Chanel, and her company Pact. And we had
Genevieve, who is the facilitator of our youth camp. She's from the University of Cambridge, and she was able to tell people how doing something you love and being able to teach it and impart that knowledge to a younger generation while still enjoying like programming. And she showed people how making her shoe light up through simple programming commands. It was really cool and really interesting for people to see. So that was really good.
And then right after we had 2 days workshop with Lund University.
Yes.
We had Anna from Lund University. Speaking about design thinking.
Right, and we did that in conjunction with the Antigua Barbuda International Institute of Technology,
ABIT. Right.
And they have been really helpful in all our hackathons in the past. We've co-hosted the events with ABIT over the years, and we really want to thank them for their continued support. They'll always be willing when we call them, can we do this here, can we do that here? And they're like, sure, come on over. So we really want to thank ABIT for facilitating that 2-day workshop on design thinking. I think design thinking, we hear it and we think, oh, okay, it's just, pretty colors. But really thinking about your design and its end use, and the end user as well too. And the end user. And if there's some gaps in it, then you really need to go back to the design of it and really think through the process. And also, it's about not only when you bring that technology or anything that you're designing to market, it's still the process doesn't end there. Because now you have to get the feedback and you have to think about ways to improve it, adjust a few things. So it was very interesting for me to see that whole discussion and that workshop as well too. And then we moved right into the hackathon, which was an exciting year. This year we had 11 teams. And what was super awesome about this year's hackathon, or last year's hackathon, I should say 2020, was the fact that we had a lot of female participants and entries. Right, and they all finished in the top 3. Yes. So a full all-female team, Team Island Girls, they won the hackathon. Second place was a female-led team, ARP. They, again, second place. And then third place was another female-led team, Daddy Yellow. And they are incubated at the park. Super excited about their companies and what they're doing, not only from just economic standpoint, but from a sustainable and environmental standpoint as well too. So it's super awesome to see what they're doing as well too. And then right after that, we had our business plan development workshop and milestone settings. I mean, we had all the teams that are present and who came out of the hackathon participated in that. And also we had like about 25 outside persons as well, part of companies, I should say, participated in that as well too. Yeah, because it's really good that, and we did it last year too, we were invited persons who are not only being incubated in the park to participate in our workshops.
So the first slots, yes, definitely, they're for the persons in the park. But then we throw out a call, hey, if you want to know how to do your business plan, if you want to really fine-tune some of your skills, sure, come on, and it's a 4-day. You have to be able to dedicate the time for a full week of classes, but at the end of it, I've had feedback. We've been able to see one business launched from that. We'll call the name, but it was really excited to see, a member of, not a member of the park, but a participant of our business plan development workshop, and he was able to work with his son to then launch a business that is dear to everybody's hearts in Antigua. And I was like, yay, it's really good. To think that we contributed to some of that, which was really nice.
And that business is a staple here in Antigua as well too. So to see the re-energized or, taking a different approach and, being that they participate in our workshop and learned a few techniques in order to, better structure the business and make it a bit more sustainable. That was awesome as well too. But then we had
COVID.
Yeah. How did that impact everyone? For me, let me start off. For me, I had to work from home. That was hard. I'm very when I'm home, it's like I'm home. Like there's nothing in terms of work. Andrea spoke about her exercising at home. I don't do nothing but eat, sleep, shower. That's what I do at home. So for me to readjust, given the COVID-19 situation, or the pandemic, I should say, it was extremely hard. What about you, Andrea? How was that?
Working from home was my dream come true. I've always wished and wanted it, and I'm just so happy that I have the opportunity to do it. And it's difficult having a work-life balance, but UNOPS gives a lot of seminars and tips on how to balance work and family time, so it's great.
What about you, Kara?
Well, in the beginning, UNOPS had a lot of courses that kind of helped you to, be resilient in the face of crisis, and how to kind of manage your time and manage interacting with others during a time of crisis. And so those courses kind of helped in the transition. I have no issue with working from home.
Leave me out in the cold.
I really don't. I find that I'm more of a results-oriented individual. Once I get what I need to get done, then I'm good. You don't have to put me to a particular time. Once I meet my deadline, I'm good. So working from home was kind of fine. All of the Zoom and Google Meets meetings tended to be tiring at some point, because it takes something else out of you to sit in front of a computer, and you get all dressed up at home, all the business on top and home at the bottom, and you're fixing.
That's funny.
And you just sit there and you talk, and sometimes it can be a bit strenuous on you. After a while, you just go and you lie there and go, but after a while, you get into a rhythm, you get accustomed to it. Also, because of COVID and working from home, the office hours, so we were having meetings on the weekends, we were having meetings in the night, we were having meetings early morning. It threw off a lot in terms of my schedule. So I stopped planning in terms of, this is what I'm going to do today. These are the results I want to get done today, and that's it.
Because the beauty about, and we spoke, both of y'all spoke about the courses that UNOPS offer. I think we had one where it spoke really about how we can balance our home and work life, and I think that workshop pretty much helped me a lot, because I was struggling. I was I would go in the morning, and then I would be there, and then I'd catch myself at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, because of how I planned the morning. I had to work through the afternoon and work straight up in the night, trying to meet the deadline given the different time zones and so on. So when we had that workshop, it kind of just, helped me to restructure and organize. And that's one thing I must say about UNOPS. They're always forward thinking. So it helps a lot with all these courses that come out, and you just apply and work. And, again, we're racking up these certificates that only will help us in the long run, because it made our work a little bit easier. Even though we had COVID, or even though we're still in that in the global pandemic with COVID, we had opportunities to still do a workshop virtually, and we launched one of our workshops, which was Sound Drop. First and foremost, Andrea came on board,
right after COVID. So welcome again, Andrea.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. I think you came in at a time where we really needed extra manpower and, in terms of organizing everything. I wanted to get your experience coming in, being a part of the UNOPS team, working with ABSIP and UNOPS GIC.
It has been really fun, interesting, intense at times. I wouldn't say handling any multifaceted partnership is easy. You have government, which is a whole kettle of fish on one side, and then you have a huge international organization like UNOPS, and you're supposed to hold both in your hand, and sometimes you feel like you're being crushed. But apart from that, the experience has been good. I think the team is really strong on both sides, and ABSIP is slowly building their team and their resources, and UNOPS, of course, having more experience, is there to support in any which way. The team is always willing. So in the past few months, I've seen a real strengthening in the relationship, and there's a lot more communication, cohesion. It's working really well.
Super excited to see what 2021 has to offer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, apart from COVID, we're still trying to make things happen, and they are going to happen. But, just super excited that, we have this team, and we all know, we're on this one goal, and we're all of the same ilk, and, we're just trying to get things off the ground, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go back to Soundtrap. So we had the Soundtrap event, which was, for me, I was super excited about it, because what I've realized happened with COVID, a lot of persons got into the podcasting, the music, they got into, their YouTube, blogs and all these things. So one thing about Soundtrap, it's an online platform for music that you can create music, and somebody can, in a different country, as far as Japan, once we have good internet and access to this app, we can collaborate and work together. Also, it's a perfect app for persons who are doing their podcast and so on, and from the podcast you can directly upload it to these DSPs as well too. So I was super excited about it, and it was well attended. We did two. We did one early right after COVID, and we did one later down in the year, and they were well attended. The feedbacks were awesome. So at least we got, we started to get things done. We also had a how to pitch session with our very own boss, Jonas Fenson. He hosted a how to pitch session with our teams here in the park. That was well attended as well. Was super excited. The feedback from that was, it's awesome.
And that was in preparation for our trial pitching event, where the teams actually pitched to investors from across the world.
Correct.
They were able to showcase what it is that their businesses were about. And even better, they were able to get feedback on, okay, we liked your pitch. These are some of the things we would want to hear from you and this type of business. These are the areas in which you can improve. And so when we go into this year and we have more events, they have that experience and that learning from that feedback, which will enable them to really be able to pitch and get the investment they need. But going back to earlier in the year, last year, we did think about, okay, how is Corona affecting us, and what can we do in our space? And so the entire global team came up with Corona Hacks Facebook page, where we just channeled a lot of what was out there in terms of simple to complicated solutions to COVID, as simple as getting an egg box and putting your cell phone in it so you don't touch it, and the DIYs, and even to then how companies were repositioning themselves to use an existing product to then meet some of the needs that COVID would have highlighted. And so just having that central place where people can go and they can get ideas from other people's idea was actually very helpful. People are still visiting the page, people are still finding use in it, because COVID is still here.
Listen, that's a part of our life right now, right? So, I mean,
COVID is still here, and so people are still interested in, okay, what are people doing? Are they facing the same situation I am facing, and how are they tackling it? And this Facebook page is a page they can go to and go, okay, so this is how they're doing it in South America, this is how they're doing it in Western Africa, this is how they're doing it in Europe or the United States. And perhaps I could then, instead of reinventing the wheel, just work smarter and, adapt what it is that somebody else has come up with to kind of tackle this situation.
And also, it's not just solely about like the DIYs for individual persons, but we also post like what some companies are doing just to show diversity and to diversify in their business as well too. So for persons who own their own business and they can see themselves going to a page, right? How they can readjust themselves, looking to see what, as you said, what other countries are doing to help stay in the economy or stay afloat in these COVID times. And that's what we designed or did with Corona Hat page. We also launched our Facebook page as well too, so where persons can find us, the UNOPS Global Innovation Centers. I mean, we have one in Japan, one in Sweden, and one here in Antigua. We are the first. Super proud of that. And now we're thinking about expanding in other countries like Jamaica and St. Lucia and potentially Barbuda. That's for the Caribbean. We're looking at
Burundi,
DRC, Burundi, South Korea,
so
US, Canada.
Right. So these are other places that we. How do you guys feel about the fact that we're opening all these other centers and then we're all going to be linked? And we're going to have access to all these great ideas and we can channel it through all the GICs. I mean, we spoke about the fact that we might have exchange programs, where one company can be incubated here for a longer period or extended period, whatever the case may be. I mean, we know we still have the COVID-19 challenge, but it's something that we're still thinking about. What do you guys think about? I'll start with you, Andrea. The fact that we have these other GICs coming on board.
It's great. I mean, the world is one big melting pot, so this is another opportunity for information exchange and idea sharing and, just to really develop a huge knowledge bank, because every country is different. They operate differently, so if you can share experiences, you'll be surprised on how beneficial one entity can be in another country as opposed to somewhere else, because an idea might be a great idea, it's just not suited for that environment.
Correct.
So if they get the opportunity outside into another network, they can flourish. So I think this is awesome.
All right.
I mean, the opportunities are endless. I think the synergies will be quite an experience for not only us at UNOPS, but the businesses that are able to participate in our global challenges and then be able to be linked with some of our global sponsors, Sony, Samsung, and get that experience and get that upper level mentorship from our global members, and to be able to see their idea where they may only have envisioned it happening in their small context, but then be able to see it happening on a global scale and being able to broaden their vision and experience. I think I'm excited for them, and I think once they have gotten into the program, they will be excited too.
And then this year we also had 2 global challenges as well too, Sweden and Japan. We had one company from the Caribbean, or from Antigua I should say, from our part participated in both. The experience, after speaking with them, the experience was, they networked, they met some interesting people, interesting other teams. The feedback was super, in line with what we're trying to accomplish. Going forward, where do you see us in this year, 2021, as it pertains to global innovation?
I would think that we would build on, even though 2020 had its challenges, all of our teams were able to have not only time with mentorship with the UNOPS team, but we also brought in our other mentors that they would have met during the hackathon, or we would have brought on stream. And so they were able to talk through some of the challenges they were having from having experienced COVID-19 as a business. And that experience now, I'm thinking that going into 2021, they'll continue to build on that knowledge. They've had 2020 to sit down, to pivot, to redesign, to reorganize. They've been able to talk to experts in the fields. They now, I think, are poised to really go out and excel. They have the tools, they have the experience, and they have the support of UNOPS, which is why we're here. We've supported them weekly, and when things are out of our remit,
weekly, we support them hourly.
When things are out of our remit, we bring in the big guns who are able to sit down and spend an hour, 2 hours with them, and they're able to really open up about what are the challenges. And I think they need to, in 2021, build on that. And yes, COVID was an experience, but there are going to be other challenges as a business going forward. And I think using COVID's experience in their business will help them to be better entrepreneurs and better social entrepreneurs as they go forward.
Yeah, that's very important, the social entrepreneurship side of things, because a lot of persons look at entrepreneurship as, just starting a business and doing everything for profit, but no one really look at the social impact. And what I like about the hackathon this year, or I should say last year, I'm going to get used to saying that, but what I like about the hackathon, we had that social component, and we challenged a lot of the companies to not only look at that aspect, the environmental aspect or the business aspect, but let's look at the social aspect, right? Mm-hmm. Also this year, we're in conversations now with the University of West Indies 5 Island campus.
Yes.
And even though we're in conversation with the University of the West Indies 5 Island campus, we're looking at University of the West Indies on the whole, right? Because again, we're thinking about moving into these countries like Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia. What do you see a partnership like that, Andrea, coming? Like, what do you see a partnership like that can help in terms of us here in the Caribbean? Boost entrepreneurship, boost sustainability, environment, and the social impact that it can have as well too.
Of course. I mean, any key partnerships with the universities or any large organizations looking at several thematic areas, energy, environment, water, those are all challenges that we face in the region. So
energy is like right up your alley.
So any partnership along those lines can only strengthen the work that you're trying to do in the area, especially institution that is a regional, long-standing institution like UWI. That's really exciting, and I think that they have a lot to offer. So tap it into those kind of resources. I'm hoping to see a lot more.
Correct.
Actually, partnerships with Cardi and other regional household.
Oh yeah, that's true. That we're planning as well too. Another thing that we had this year is our mentorship program, right? So we have a few mentors, but just to be clear, we did not only just look for mentors that can mentor the teams or the companies at the park. We actually reached out to some of these mentors just to talk to them ourselves in terms of how to best approach a situation, how to best navigate certain situations. I mean, we have Steve from Silicon Valley. We have Conrad. We had that one with Conrad, and we have a few others. What do you think something like that how it can help boost what we're trying to achieve here at the Global Innovation Center?
I think having the experience of persons who've done it is vital. So we are on the ground, we're helping, but we're going to have questions and face situations where the startups are asking us how, and we're like, okay, I don't personally have the knowledge, but hey, I know that Conrad has this experience in this area, and he will be able to help you. Let me talk to him. Because, I mean, Conrad may not have the time dedicated to talk to every single business about this one thing, but if we talk to him and we get that knowledge from him, then we'll be able to translate it to the teams, and it will help us improve and better our knowledge as well as it benefits the teams.
And that's the beauty about having all these global innovations as well too, because we share a lot of knowledge between us as well too, because if Sweden ran into a certain challenge and they overcome that challenge, we like to document everything. So we document the challenge, we document the procedures that we went through in order to, I mean, it might not work exactly the same way here, but we kind of have an idea of how to navigate everything going forward. So I'm going to end this by asking everyone, or each one of you, what are we looking forward to this year for 2021 from the Global GIC? Or the Global GIC?
For
the Global Innovation Center.
For the GIC in Antigua, I look forward to just seeing the companies continue to develop and grow. Some of them have faced setbacks, but just still being able to encourage them to launch and to really be focused and to keep their eye on the end game despite the challenges they face. Globally, I'm looking forward to the expansion, to learning from other cultures and places and how business is conducted, and being able to take that learning and that experience and maybe even implementing it in somewhere else that is going to be of benefit. I look forward to those sort of experiences and those sort of challenges that will come with opening new centers. But I think it's all for a good cause, and it's something that I'm really excited about.
Now, what about you, Andrea?
I would say I share similar sentiments. For Antigua in particular, really just to continue strengthening existing partnerships, engaging new partners, have additional startups join the park, trying to align a lot of those ideas with national priorities. Globally, look forward to the exchange program, the expansion of the GIC program in general, and closer networking, between all the GICs.
For me, first and foremost, for coronavirus to just disappear.
You're being optimistic.
I'm being romantic right now. Like, I need the whole corona thing to disappear. But that's wishful thinking, as you're saying. So for me personally, I mean, our Prime Minister said a few years ago that his goal is for Antigua to be an economic powerhouse, right? I think with the GIC here in Antigua, we can be, or we can contribute to that. I mean, I think entrepreneurship is one of the pillars in order for that to happen. But we don't want to leave out, again, as we said, the sustainability part of it, the environmental part of it, the social part of it, right? I mean, a lot of persons hear about this economic powerhouse and just think about money and economy.
Yeah.
But they're not thinking about, the economy can be flowing, but people mentally are not there, or they're having these issues socially and all these things. So when we speak about economic powerhouse, we just don't want to think about, again, we speak about the economic side of things, but with economics, it has to do with everything that I just said, sustainability, the environmental aspect, all these things. So I think that the GIC is, to me, one of the best things that could happen to help push that forward and to help persons to think that, listen, granted we're in a corona era, or we're in a global pandemic, but let's be creative. Let's be more aware of our surroundings. Let's look at solutions that not only going to benefit us, but it's going to benefit everyone and keep everyone safe and, going through what we're going through right now, right? So guys, stay safe. I would say stay humble, but you know me,